Hey guys, I'm sitting out here in the truck. We're still here at the hospital. It's 3 o'clock in the morning, Saturday morning, I think now, and we're just. Uh, I'll explain everything later, but let's just put it this way. I'll just say it simple. I ended up when I was fixing Judy and my bedtime pills last night. I take a certain type, and Judy takes a certain type, and some of them are just alike. And when I fixed her meds, and she said, "Well, I need something to snack on first." So I set hers down and set mine down, and went over and got to get her something. When I came back, I gave her a snack, and I had them sitting there, and I reached down there and handed them to her because I think I went in and fixed them, and then came back and I set them both down there to make sure she had looked to see if she had something to drink. "Yeah, you got something to drink," and I handed it to her, and I reached down and handed her pills. And then I went over to the other side of the table, and I sat down, and I took the other side of the bed and sat down and took mine, and there was something strange. It didn't seem like there's quite enough, and there was still one left in the bottom of my pill cup, and I looked down, okay, and one of the pills that was there was hers, and so immediately I thought I must have dropped one of her pills in my. Actually, immediately I thought I may have messed up and mixed the cups up. I don't do that. I've gotten a couple pills that are just like in the wrong cup, but I've been very closely watching. But anyways. Judy has tachycardia, and she takes a pill called metropolol, and I have high blood pressure. She has low blood pressure, so I take like 3 different blood pressure pills. Each one of them does a different thing. So anyways, just to get to the bottom of the thing, I immediately started realizing something was wrong. And so I ran in and got her blood, I looked around, I finally found her blood pressure cuff, and I started checking her blood pressure, and her blood pressure was low. But she said she was feeling all right. And so then I got concerned, and I called my daughter-in-law, and we went through the list of meds. She was on her way home. She's an RN. And she says, "Well, tell me what they do." And I explained to her. She said, "Oh, yeah, okay, that's okay." And one of the meds that she takes that Judy took tonight is called gabapentin, and it's for neuropathy and nerve pain and stuff. She's taken it before, but she's always had a bit of a reaction to it. Well, and she says, "Just check her blood pressure," or check her blood pressure. So I checked it again, and it was, at that point, it was like 65 over 49, and that was starting to get, she goes, "Dad, that's getting low." So I checked it again, and a little bit later, and it was like 60 over 40, or 45, And then when she had me check again, it was 55 over 40. And that's when I said, "Okay, we got to take her to the ER. That's all there is to it." When I went to get her up out of bed, she stood up on her own, and when she did, she just kind of just went limp noodle. She kind of fell forward into the table, and she, marked her lip up a little bit, and she just had a bad fall last night, Thursday night. While I was talking with Mel after we watched Thursday Night Live, he and I were talking about some things. And anyways, by the time I got to the hospital, her blood pressure was 50 over 35. And of course, they naturally got her they triaged her right there on the spot. They got her back there right away. And they, of course, called me back, and I went through, and I said, "If you want to know for sure, just give me a urinalysis, because if it shows that I've got Percocet in my system, that's a guarantee that I took her meds." And he looks at her and he says, "I think we can pretty well verify that she, and he told me, I was beating myself up really bad. He says, "Hey, this very room 2 days ago, we had the same thing happen. So he says, it happens. He says, you know, you one caregiver, he says, you know, so I have now taken steps to eliminate the possibility of this happening again. I'm going to be using a new medicine dispensing system, or a way to dispense her meds, which will keep her meds completely separate from mine, and they will not, you know, there's no way I'm going to get them mixed up, because they'll just be dispensed differently. So I've already taken the steps for that. But by the time I got back to see her, she was very lethargic. She was just, I mean, she just, like I said, she turned very pale, and her blood pressure was bottoming out. I knew that was happening. When I got her here, her blood pressure was really bad, and she couldn't sit up, and so I had to go out and move my truck. And when I came back in, they said, we've already taken her back, you know. And so they waited for me, you know, they got her settled, and then they called me back. And by that time, she was having a reaction to all the medicines, and she you know, of course, because of it, they have to flush the system out really fast, so they had to have her catheterized, and she was fighting it, and she was, you know, her blood pressure was so low they couldn't get, so they finally had to put an IV into the vein in her neck, not into her artery, but into the vein, but because there's a big vein there that they can hit, and she was trying to pull the tape off of that. She kept unplugging her leads, and she was just there for a little while. She was pretty rough, and they had me stay back there with her, and then they took her up, and because I said she'd fallen, they took her up to do a CTs on her, and I guess, and to make sure this wasn't head trauma that was causing it. And they said, no, everything looked good there, but she is currently inside in ICU. I had to come out here and get, you know, charge up my phone a little bit, and I'm using Judy's phone because her phone has a full charge on it. So I'm just going to sign off. Guys, if you're a caretaker, you need to be aware of, you know, it's very important. She's going to be okay. They started running her through some stuff to bring her blood pressure up. Her blood pressure when I just left there was 95 over I think it was 55 or 59, and they've got her the part of her blood, the part of the oxygenation or whatever that keeps her blood flowing into her head. That's good, and they've got her kidneys for functioning, and everything's good, you know. And she was a little, you know, she'd woke back up, and I got to talk with her for a few minutes. She'd finally fallen asleep, and they wanted her to stay awake for a little while, and that it just, you know, wasn't going to happen. So I stepped outside once the nurse said she was really good and stable, and I brought out some of the personal items and stuff, but it was just, you know, I'd been pumping water in her and to try and get water in her, but it was a good thing I got her here in time, you know, and she's going to be okay. But needless to say, I'm beating the hell out of myself for it, because it was just a stupid mistake. And I mean, there's been a couple of times I've almost made that mistake, but I don't know how I did it, because I was really paying attention. And needless to say, she's already starting to give me crap about it. So she's you know, but she went right back to sleep. But she woke up long enough to tell the nurse, she said, I think he's trying to bump me off. Of course, they all know, you know, because what I did was brought in the box of meds and showed them what I took, and what she's supposed to take is what I took, and what she took is what I'm supposed to take. And I showed it to them, and they said, yeah, that's absolutely what the problem is. So I wouldn't normally do a video, but I just wanted to post this one. So guys, Judy's doing good. She's going to be okay. Those of you who saw anything on Facebook, she's going to be all right. But she's in ICU for the night. They said sometime tomorrow they'll release her, but they got to get this cleared out of her system. So I'll catch you guys later.